I'm Philip Powell. I'm Dean of the School of Business, Economics and Informatics. I would hate, for example, that my daughter's life chances would be affected by her gender rather than her abilities, her effort and her attainment. Everyone should have the opportunity to reach their potential, and any organisation that doesn't allow people to reach their potential, that doesn't uncover the latent talent that is clearly around is clearly going to be a less successful organisation. So we need to use all the talents that are available to us. I think there are a multitude of challenges, and a multitude of challenges require a multitude of mutually self-supporting responses, some of which we have, some of which we are developing, and some of which I think we don't yet understand. I think there are things we can be proud of that we've managed so far. For example, in the school, I'm proud of the fact that as Dean, we have appointed and promoted women at a much faster rate than we did in the school that I inherited. We have a school executive which, over its 8 years life, has been 50% women, 50% men, and it's performed extremely well. So it's clear that we have skilled, talented people of all genders at senior levels in the school, but problems remain. Some of those problems are discipline-based. In departments such as organisational psychology, over half the students and half the staff are women. In computer science, the balance is much more skewed towards men. The problem of female participation in computer science, both careers and in industry and in academe, is long-standing. It's been around for almost as long as computer science, although some of the pioneers of computer science were female. I remember sitting on a body called the Alliance for IS Skills in the 1990s, which was charged with trying to understand and address the shortage of IT skills in the UK, and one of those was the lack of female participation. But despite many initiatives, we are no further forward now than we were then, and that's got to be a disappointment. So, despite this, women don't seem to want to have a career in computer science, and that includes academic careers. We have a pipeline problem. Few women study computer science at school, fewer go on to study it at university, and very few seem to want to undertake a career as a computer science academic. So when we try to recruit staff, we get very few female applicants. So the problem needs to be addressed much earlier in people's lives. We need interventions in schools, probably even primary schools, to make it clear that anyone can go into any career and be successful in it. In contrast, in the other part of the school that deals with STEM subjects, maths and statistics, we have made a number of extremely good appointments of women who have been rapidly and rightly promoted. It's interesting that recent data demonstrates that while female participation in STEM occupations is low, their average salary in those occupations is higher than men's. These sorts of data needs to be disseminated so that when people are making career choices, they understand what is available. We face a turnover problem. The churn in academic posts is low, and in Birkbeck is lower than the sector average. Without a retirement age and with very few people leaving the institution, it is very difficult to address historically large gender imbalances in the school. A further problem is that we don't know as much as we should about why women are promoted less and paid less than men, and indeed some of the things we think we know are probably wrong, in which case the advice we give based on them is also probably wrong. For example, we've been told for many years that women do not put themselves forward for pay rises as often and as vigorously as men. Apparently the most recent research suggests that's not true, so advice based on that is not going to be as successful as we had perhaps hoped. So while the Dean and the Assistant Deans undertake a positive review of all staff during each promotion round, this may not be the solution that we had hoped it would be. Policies, procedures, training can be part of the solution. Unconscious bias training, for example, for which I was a guinea pig, may help to address some of the problems, although I seldom come across conscious bias in any of my colleagues. Programs such as Athena Swan are very useful in forcing organisations to collect and analyse data and understand themselves a lot better, and hopefully address the problems. And the external pressure from a body such as Athena Swan is helpful in directing management attention towards problems. And following a successful pilot in the School of Science, all schools are now going to have an Assistant Dean for Equalities. Having someone who is focusing on that issue and part of the school's leadership team should again help us identify and address some of the problems. Ultimately, I'm a pragmatist. I want to know what works and I want to do what works.